Okay, can we do a very, very quick sound check? Can you hear me loudly and clearly? Yes, you can actually, because my video's just started. Okay, Snazzy, as I'm late, you can have a very quick bumper clate. Uno momento. Bumper clate. This is becoming a regular occurrence, isn't it? Jesus Christ almighty. Okay, right. Let's go. Anybody complaining about the sound quality, don't bother putting any comments in. Just go listen to another show. I'm not in the mood tonight, especially when there's people failing drugs tests again. Right, let's crack on, shall we? Let's crack on. Baumgartner is the latest one. Let me start with the best way to start with this is, right? The best way to do this is to start with the disclaimer, yeah? Let's start with a disclaimer. Here's the disclaimer. I am not accusing Alicia Baumgartner of taking any performance-enhancing substances with intent. I'm not accusing Alicia Baumgartner, CONOR, BENN, or Dillian Whyte of taking any performance-enhancing substances with any intent. It's down to the relevant authorities and the investigative process to decide if that's the case or not. All I can do here is simply give you my opinions based on the breaking news in this story. And speaking of breaking news, as if you haven't seen already, but we have to do it because we are a news channel and this is Ultra Sports News. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Probably the least surprising drug test failure of all time. Just unbelievable. Like the least surprising positive test of all time. Well, there's one other person actually who shall remain nameless, but breaking news. Alicia Baumgartner allegedly has tested positive for a steroid in a story that we're about to read you as soon as I get up the relevant news caption. There you go. There you go. Right, let's have a read of this. Let's go to boxing scene for this. This is absolutely unbelievable. And let me tell you something. The key of what we're talking about today isn't really to have a go at Alicia Baumgartner. I'm not a big fan of Alicia Baumgartner. I've never been one of those simps who thinks that, you know, she walks on water, okay? I've never, ever been one of those simps who thinks she walks on water. Listen, Alicia Baumgartner is a very, very good-looking woman, but I'm surprised she didn't test positive for makeup and foundation because she wears so much of it. It's unbelievable. To be honest with you, I'm surprised she didn't test positive, yeah, for excessive amounts of eyeliner, foundation, and having your eyebrows drawn in. It's amazing how many simps can't tell the difference, yeah, between makeup and no makeup. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. This is absolutely unbelievable, right? And it's not the fact that yet another fighter on a Matchroom card has tested positive, right? There's a much, much bigger situation that I'm going to run you through now, yeah? And this is very, very important for the up-and-coming CONOR BENN news that we're going to be talking about in a minute as well, because you guys owe me some apologies on CONOR BENN, and very, very important for drug testing in the UK in the future. Now, listen to this, all right? I'm going to read the report very, very quickly, and you tell me what the red flag in this story is. This is massive. According to the test report, listen to this. So, excuse me, drug-free sport, yeah? Drug-free sport did the drug testing for Matchroom, right, on this Lindatu versus Baumgartner fight, which is the fight she tested positive for, right? Now, check this out. According to a report obtained by Boxing Scene, a urine sample collected on July the 12th, which apparently was 3 days before the fight took place. Now, I'm not a massive connoisseur of women's boxing. So if you connoisseurs of women's boxing would like to confirm that or not, I've been told, yeah, that this was about 3 days before the fight took place. Let me get my calendar up and just see if that's right or wrong. Stay with me on this. It was, yeah, this is unbelievable, right? Stay with me on this one, because when you find this out, you're going to laugh, right? So stay with me. So Matchroom hire drug-free sport, right? Drug-free sport collect a urine sample from Baumgartner on the 12th of July, yeah, 3 days before the fight, right? Now, check this out. According to the test report, the lab received the sample to test on the 21st of July. Are the red flags up yet, guys? Are we getting the red flags up yet, guys? What the fuck is this? Drug-free sport. This is who is doing. I believe this is the organization. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the organization, yeah, that did the dope testing for Joe Cordina's last fight. I'm not saying Joe Cordina's. I'm just saying they are doing dope testing for quite a few boxing fights. I believe they're doing. I think they're doing a. I think they're doing drug testing for quite a few boxing fights that are being promoted by a certain promoter. Check this out now. They collected the sample on July the 12th. They received the sample to test on July 21st. Now check this out. The result was reported on August the 10th. Jesus fucking Christ. Can you believe this shit? Can you hear this? Drug-free sport. Question marks need to be asked now. Here are this week's questions for Charlie Parsons and Kugan Cassius, although we know they won't ask them. But homework this week for Kugan Cassius and Charlie Parsons. Question number 1. Matchroom, why the fuck are you hiring this drug-free sport organization to do your drug testing? And do you think they are fit for purpose? Given that 3 days before a fight, they drug tested one of your fighters 3 days before a fight. They only got to test that drug test 9 days later. 9 days later. So a Matchroom fighter is getting tested on July the 12th. But the fucking sample doesn't get to the lab until 9 days later. Then, after the sample is tested, what's this? A 3-week gap. It takes 3 weeks for them after they test the sample to report the results. I've got to be very, very careful what I say here. But let me ask you this question. Based on what you've heard so far, does that seem right to you? Yes or no? Press 1 in the chat if you think I'm onto something, or press 2 in the chat if you think I'm just being a Matchroom hater. Who the fuck are this drug-free sport? And why are Matchroom using them? And do you guys not think... Let's put it this way. How on earth, as a promoter, your job is to make sure that fighters are safe, right? That's your job. It's not your job to make sure that fighters pass drug tests. It's not Eddie Hearn's fault, right? That Baumgartner tested positive, right? It's not Baumgartner's fault. So it's not Eddie Hearn's fault that Baumgartner... It's not Eddie Hearn's responsibility to make sure that fighters test positive, right? But it's the promoter's responsibility to make sure, right, that the fighters are safe when they go into the ring, aren't they? Yeah? And it's very, very important that when somebody tests positive for fucking steroids, that they aren't allowed to be let in the ring to punch someone in the head. This seems to be... Am I wrong, or does this seem to be a reoccurring... Does it not seem to be Groundhog Day with Bill Murray? Do we not seem to be discussing the same things involving the same promoters time and time and time again? Fight is booked on a promoter's show. Fighter test positive. They either push for the fight to go ahead or the fight's allowed to go ahead. Am I wrong? Or has this not happened multiple times before? Sam says Hermes in charge of delivering the results on time. This is absolutely out fucking rageous. How can... Genuinely now, right? Matchroom call themselves the best in the business. Am I right about that? Matchroom say we are by far the best promotion in the business, right? We are the best promotion in the business. Anybody would want to fight for Matchroom. We've got the best production. We've got the best facilities. We've got the best of everything. So why the fuck have they got drug-free sport, who I'd never heard of, by the way, until after the Conor Benn saga, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I'd never even heard of these people until after the Conor Benn saga. Why the fuck have they got this drug-free sport who have tested one of their fighters 3 days before a fight, and it's taken a month for them results to come out? A month. It's taken a month for the results to come out, and it's taken 9 days for the lab to receive the fucking sample. That is absolutely fucking outrageous. Now, let me tell you how dangerous this is in the sport. Let me tell you how dangerous this is. So do you remember Christina Lindatu, who was the person who got into the ring with Baumgartner? Do you remember that she was due in the ring on a Frank Warren card a couple of months ago? What was it? Around April the 14th? So what was that? A couple of months ago. Do you guys remember? Lindatu was booked in to fight Michaela Meyer on a top-ranked Frank Warren card that was being held in the UK. I believe like Top Rank were actually her promoters, but it was that Frank Warren was helping them out because Michaela Meyer needed to get out. Do you remember that? So Christina Lindatu was booked in to fight Michaela Meyer back in April on a Frank Warren Queensberry card. But the British Boxing Board of Control stopped the fight because they thought that Lindatu had a lens over one of her eyes. Basically, they weren't satisfied, right? They weren't satisfied that Lindatu was in a fit state to take punches from Michaela Meyer. And if you remember at the time, the British Boxing Board of Control, right, got criticised by people like that. I could be wrong. Charlie Parsons, if I am wrong, I apologise. But I remember at the time when the British Boxing Board of Control refused to allow Lindatu to fight, I believe certain people on IFL TV and Boxing Social were saying, look, the British Boxing Board of Control aren't fit for purpose. Do you remember that? I think I remember that. They were criticising the British Boxing Board of Control for cancelling that fight at short notice. So Lindatu is a fighter who wasn't even passed as medically fit to box in the fucking UK. So she goes to America and gets a fight on this Matchroom card out on DAZN. Well. Look what happens. 3 days before she's set to go in the ring, opponent tests positive for STEROIDS. Yeah, Jar. See you later, mate. See ya, Jar. Take care, mate. And that really will be goodbye for you as well. Take care, mate. On July the 12th. So on the July the 12th, 3 days. 3 fucking days, yeah, before this fight took place, her opponent has tested positive for signs of steroids in the system. And that fight took place. And that fight was allowed to take place. Mate, we're getting to the point here where, honest to God, I don't know what to tell you anymore about this promotion. I don't know what to tell you anymore about the fighters on this promotion. And I don't know what to tell you anymore about fucking the state of drug testing and the state of doping in boxing. And let me make this clear, yeah? One more time. It's not Eddie Hearn's responsibility to make sure that fighters test positive. That's not his responsibility. And we will get big fighters from other promotions fail tests in the future. You will see big Queensberry fighters. You'll see the likes of a Tyson Fury, a Daniel Dubois. In my opinion, you will probably see those guys have problems with drug testing in the future. Just my opinion. I could be wrong. But it wouldn't surprise me if you saw a Daniel Dubois, a Tyson Fury, or somebody else have problems with doping in the future. What I'm trying to say is, this is not, right, purely a matchroom boxing thing, right? This is a boxing thing. But I have to say something, right? And I have to say something right now. I think this is very, very odd, yeah? I think this is very, very odd. And let me put it this way. I've got to put it very, very carefully because I've got to be careful in case the lawyers get onto me. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that when this test was done on July the 12th, yeah? Do you think that the promoters knew that the results wouldn't be coming back until after the fight? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that when this drug test was taken on July the 12th, do you think that the promoters probably knew that the results wouldn't be coming back until after the fight? Because that timing is so weird to me, isn't it? Do you not think, innit? It's really odd that you would do drug testing 3 days before a fight, but let the fight go ahead anyway, effectively. Does that make sense? So you're going to do drug testing 3 days before a fight, but you're not going to test the sample until after the fight. It's very, very convenient to the promotion, isn't it? I'm not saying Matchroom are doing this, but do you understand what I'm trying to say, innit? It's awful convenient to the promoter because it basically ensures that drug testing takes place, but the event will go ahead regardless and nobody loses out on any money. Press 1 if you'd agree with me on that, or press 2 if you disagree. That's just my opinion. I'm not alleging Matchroom are doing anything untoward. I'm just saying, I'm just giving my opinion. That's very strange, isn't it? That you would dope test somebody 3 days before a fight and the results don't come out for a month. Did Matchroom know that when they hire Drug-Free Sport to do their drug testing? Just out of interest. That's another question for Simon Jordan would ask it. It's another question it's more homework for Kugan Cassius and Charlie Parsons this week. When you hire Drug-Free Sport to do drug testing for Christina Lindatu versus Alicia Baumgartner, yeah, did you know when you hire Drug-Free Sport that it would take them 9 days to receive, or it would take 9 days for the drug test samples to get to the lab, and then take another 3 weeks for the result to be released? Did you know that when you actually hire Drug-Free Sport? Because if you didn't know that, then you're a fucking idiot. Right? Am I right about that? Press 7 if you agree. Press 8 if you agree. If you hire somebody to do drug testing, or if somebody's doing drug testing on your promotion and you don't fucking know when the fucking samples are going to be tested, and you don't fucking know when the results are going to get out, then you shouldn't be in the business of promoting boxing fights. Am I right about that or am I wrong? You should not be in the business of promoting boxing fights. If I'm hiring a drug testing company to test fighters and I have no idea when I'm going to get the results back, or I have no idea when them results are going to hit the lab, then I can't ensure the safety of my fighters. So that's this week's homework for Kugan Cassius and Charlie Parsons. Question for Eddie Hearn and Frank Smith. Did you know when you hired Drug-Free Sport that they would be so inefficient in A, getting this sample to the lab, and B, getting the results out? Because either you're really fucking stupid and you don't know what you're doing, and you need to hire somebody who actually knows what they're doing, aka you need to hire somebody who can perform a drug test on your fighters and get you the results back ASAP, or you knew. What do you guys think? Eddie will just say they need to look into drugs. They definitely do need to. I mean, I would imagine that Christina Lindatu's lawyers are on the phone. What, do you not think so? Are you fucking crazy? She's got in the ring with somebody who's tested positive for steroids, and she's found out a month after the fucking fight. 9 days it took for the results to get to the lab. Somebody said about a breathalyzer, or somebody said, who is it? I've never been breathalyzed, but somebody said to me today, yeah, that we've been tested before for jobs. We've been drug tested for jobs. Got the results in 24 hours, 48 hours. Am I right about that or wrong about that? There are people out there who are being drug tested for jobs. They've got their results quicker. They got their results quicker than it took for fucking Alicia Baumgartner's results to get to the fucking lab, and they weren't being punched in the head. So it's very simple. It seems to me, and again, I'm not blaming Matchroom, right? But it does seem to me that this drug-free sport protocol, yeah, or whatever protocol they've got for testing Matchroom at some of these shows, quite clearly is not fit for purpose. Do you think it's okay for me to say that? Or am I being over the top? Do you think it's okay for me to say that? At the very minimum, doesn't it? It looks like this drug-free sport, whatever crap they've got going on at Matchroom, right? It does seem like it's not fit for purpose, right? Somebody needs to ask the question, how the fuck can you run the quote-unquote best promotion in boxing and somebody's fucking tested positive for fucking steroids 3 days before a fight, and it takes 9 days for the results to get to the fucking lab? As a result, the fight goes ahead. How the fuck can you ensure fighter safety? What if something had happened to Christina Lindatu? The British Boxing Board of Control don't even think that Lindatu is fit enough to box in the UK. The British Boxing Board of Control will not sanction Christina Lindatu to box in the UK because they don't think she's got full use of her eyes, for fuck's sake. She ends up on a fucking card in the United States against somebody who's fucking tested positive for steroids or traces steroids. So what's up next now? How much more are we going to keep defending this? What's the excuse for this week? Richard says a mate got piss tested for Amazon and he found out he failed the next day. So how the fuck are Amazon getting back piss test results quicker than Matchroom Boxing? How does that work? And who the fuck are this drug-free sport? What is the protocol? And how does this work? Is that serious? People are getting fucking piss tested for fucking carrying bags around in Amazon. Working in a warehouse at Amazon, you're getting a piss test returned to you quicker than fucking Christina Lindato on a match unboxing card. There's something about that timing that just does not seem right, does it? It doesn't seem right. If that was me, and again, let me make it clear, I'm not accusing Matchroom of anything, but if I was a promoter and I was interested in the safety of my fighters, if somebody takes a drug test, I need them results in 24 hours. At least. I need them results inside 24 hours, because if you test positive for steroids on my show, we can't let you in the fucking ring because you might kill somebody. Especially somebody who the British Boxing Board of Control only 2 months earlier said isn't fit to box in the United Kingdom. I need to know. If you test positive for steroids, I can't wait 3 weeks for your results. Are you crazy? I can't wait fucking 3 weeks for the test results. I can't wait 9 days for the results to get to the fucking lab. I need to know your results in 24 hours, because if I'm running the so-called best promotion in boxing right now by far, if I'm getting on IFL TV and Boxing Social and saying I'm the best promoter in the game and there's nobody like us, then I need to make sure that the fighters that get on my cards are safe. I know Lou DeBella's commented right now. As far as I'm concerned, Christina Lindato needs to get on the phone to the lawyers. Press 7 if you would agree with me on that. Christina Lindato needs to get on the phone to the lawyers. Are you fucking crazy? Are you fucking nuts? As for Baumgartner, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, look, I've got nothing against Baumgartner, all right? Should Baumgartner be banned for life? No. Again, in my opinion, she should not be banned for life, because if Jarrell Miller can box again, and if Tyson Fury can box again, and if anybody else can box again, then Baumgartner should be able to box again. All I will say to you is this. I received a DM last night at 10 o'clock at night from somebody showing me a tweet of somebody saying that Baumgartner was about to, that bad news was about to come for Baumgartner. So about last night at 10 p.m., I checked my phone. I had a DM from somebody, and the DM was a retweet from somebody else who knows a lot about drugs in the sport, who said that there's about to be some very, very bad news, Ari Baumgartner. And at that point, I knew she tested positive, because I knew from the guy who originally tweeted the story. Yes, correct. Mamo, exactly. Yeah, the original story came from Mamo Herrera. And when Mamo is saying that when Mamo of all people is saying, yo, there's about to be some bad news, then if it's anybody else, I would have paid no attention. But when I got the tweet last night, somebody sent me a DM of Mamo tweeting last night around 10, 11 at night saying, yo, you're going to get some bad news about Alicia Baumgartner. I knew what the result was going to be, because Mamo knows inside out who's on dope and who's not on dope. Well, I think everybody's on dope pretty much, but you know what I mean? Mamo knows what's going on for obvious reasons, right? You look into his check his background, innit? Like, sometimes, let's put it this way. What do they say in Training Day? What did Denzel Washington say in the film Training Day? It takes a wolf to catch a wolf, right? Press 1 if you understand what I'm saying, yeah? It takes a wolf to catch a wolf, yeah? So when I see Mamo tweet that about Baumgartner last night, I already knew what the result was going to be. It was just about waiting for confirmation. So she should be allowed to box again, in my opinion. We can't have one rule for Conor Benn, one rule for Baumgartner, one rule for Dillian Whyte, and different rules for everybody else, right? She should be allowed to box again. But in my opinion, she does need to take a break away from the sport of boxing, a long break. I would say she needs to take a good 18 to 24 months away from the sport of boxing. What do you guys think? 18 to 24 months away from the sport of boxing, and then come back and box. But in my opinion, let me tell you this right now. To say that I wasn't shocked when I got that DM was understatement of the year. When I saw that. Let me leave it at that. When I heard that name had a problem with a drugs test, that's probably the least surprised I've ever been in all my years of covering this sport. I mean, it's just, do bears piss in the woods? There's your answer. Anyway, let's let the authorities handle that out. Michaela Meyer was robbed. Look. I need to get up the Jose Mourinho meme. If I speak, I will be in trouble. Big, big trouble. And I don't want to be in trouble. So I'm not going to carry on with that. If you guys knew some of the private conversations I had, I'd be in banging trouble. Anyway, Baumgartner's tested positive. Michaela Meyer will go. Shane is saying Mayer's going crazy. Let me just quickly check Mayer's Twitter. Is she really going nuts? Let me check Michaela Meyer's Twitter. Mayer ain't said nothing for a reason as well. Mayer just needs to keep quiet. She don't make. There's no reason for Mayer to get involved. She just needs to keep quiet. Anyway, look, it is what it is. KKNB says she looked hench for a while, but I love that girl gutted. Oh my god, brother, listen. All I gotta say to you is this: when that DM hit my phone last night. There's certain names, yeah. There's certain names that, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? It is. It is what it is. Look, she needs to take an 18 to 24 month break. Okay, she needs to take an 18 to 24 month break from the sport and come back to the sport. Simple as that. But in my opinion, she shouldn't be in the boxing ring for a good 12 to 24 months. All right. But like I said before, she can always set up an OnlyFans and she would make so much money on that as well. She, you know, Ebony Bridges don't want to come back to boxing because Ebony Bridges making $500,000 a year off OnlyFans. Can you imagine how much money that Baumgartner would make off OnlyFans? She would make so much money off it. Baumgartner. Honestly, she's wasting her time in boxing. She can make money off OnlyFans for a bit and then come back to boxing after a ban. But it does look like she's going to get a ban. Now, let me quickly carry on. We'll get back to Baumgartner in just a sec because I just want to do a quick bit of Conor Benn news. Is that okay? Let me tell you, I can't get the tweet up on the screen because Twitter is not working because Elon Musk done fucked up Twitter again, yeah? So Twitter isn't working at the minute, so you're going to have to take my word from this, okay? But if you look at the latest tweets from Michael Benson, right? Eddie Hearn has said in his latest interview, what's he said? He said, the very thing that I've been telling you for the last 3 weeks. I want my apologies right now. Nico, where are you, Nico? You told me that UKAD had cleared Conor Benn. I want my apologies, please. Because according to Eddie Hearn, he believes that the British Boxing Board of Control, aka or UKAD, will be appealing the results of the NADP hearing, in which it's believed that they ruled that Conor Benn was not under UKAD remit, right? So basically, first and foremost, right, we're waiting for the official confirmation that Eddie Hearn is saying he expects the British Boxing Board of Control and or UKAD, because it's both of them, isn't it? The UKAD are the anti-doping agency for the British Boxing Board of Control. But Eddie Hearn is saying that he expects there to be an appeal of the NAPD ruling a couple of weeks ago. As we told you, the ruling looks to have been that UKAD had no jurisdiction over Conor Benn. But you know what? Certain people have been lying to you, haven't they? What do you think? Certain people have been lying to you. Are you going to give me my apology? Because you told me I was wrong. You not all of you, but certain people in this chat, aka Nico, told me that UKAD had cleared Conor Benn, right? Am I right? Am I wrong about that? Press 7 if I'm right, press 8 if I'm wrong. Didn't certain man come on here and tell me, no, Ultra, I've watched this video from Eddie Hearn. The nightmare is over. Look, Eddie Hearn phones Conor Benn after UKAD clearance. This is a straight up fucking lie. Okay? Now you know. This is a straight up fucking lie. Conor Benn was never cleared by UKAD. The National Anti-Doping Panel have ruled, and it looks like they've ruled, that UKAD do not have jurisdiction. And now, Eddie Hearn is now telling you that the British Boxing Board of Control, who obviously is anti-doping agencies, UKAD, are now going to appeal this result. UKAD never cleared Conor Benn. Nico, I love you, my brother. Somehow you're still not on this channel, but when you get to this, Nico, can you jump in, yeah? And can you please confirm that I was right and that you were incorrect? And that Conor Benn was never cleared by UKAD, please. Can we get a shout out for Kugan Cassius, Charlie Parsons, and all the guys on IFL TV who kept saying that UKAD have cleared Conor Benn? Because you know what? I had people 3 weeks ago telling me, what were they telling me? Ultra, this is just a vendetta against Conor Benn. Ultra, he's been cleared, just let it go. Ultra's trying to carry this on. Ultra's just got a vendetta against Matchroom. I told you, he ain't been cleared by UKAD. This, what you're seeing here, is a straight lie. From Eddie Hearn, he has lied. UKAD never cleared Conor Benn. Never. He lied. Simple as that. He lied. And he knew it. They never, ever cleared Conor Benn. As far as I'm aware, they haven't even heard any of Conor Benn's scientific evidence. Those are all the reports coming out right now from journalists like Riyadh Al-Samari at the Daily Mail, who broke the story. The NADP, the National Anti-Doping Panel, haven't even heard Conor Benn's science-based evidence for why he failed a dope test. They haven't even heard the evidence yet, because what they've been discussing so far is jurisdiction. And it appears that the NADP ruled that UKAD don't have jurisdiction over Conor Benn. UKAD and the British Boxing Board of Control had 21 days to appeal that result. 21 days to appeal that result. According to Eddie Hearn, in his latest chat with Boxing Social, he thinks they're going to appeal it. So there you go. There's the answer. There you go. There you go. Which you should have known anyway, because as soon as UKAD released a statement saying that they had the right to appeal, that should have told you that they didn't clear Conor Benn anyway. Why the fuck would you clear somebody and then talk about fucking appealing in the next fucking XYZ? You idiots. The NADP ruled, as far as I'm aware, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. But as far as I'm aware, there was a ruling, and the ruling was based on UKAD not having jurisdiction. They have 21 days to appeal. According to Eddie Hearn, there is going to be an appeal. We'll have to wait and see. If there's no appeal, then Conor Benn is free to fight. But as it stands, it looks like there's going to be an appeal. But either way, whether there's an appeal or not an appeal, UKAD have never cleared Conor Benn to fight. They've never looked at any science-based evidence. Let me rephrase that so in case the lawyers are listening. They have no decision has been made, as far as I'm aware, based on any scientific evidence. So as far as I'm aware, nothing's been like, oh, we know that Conor Benn didn't take dope. He's free to box. It's over jurisdiction. And I won't say any more about that. Nico, please. I want you to hop in the chat, please. And I want you to apologize because I was right. You were wrong. Yeah. And I want now the question to be asked. Eddie Hearn phones Conor Benn after UKAD clearance. Well, it's pretty clear that UKAD didn't clear Conor Benn. So you've got Eddie Hearn there telling Porky Pies in the flesh. In the flesh. Yeah? You've got it in the flesh. So you've got him telling Porky Pies in the flesh. Now, I will leave it at this and go back to Alicia Baumgartner. Genuine question. Yeah? What are the British Boxing Board of Control rules about licensed promoters' conduct during a doping investigation? It'd be very, very interesting to see those rules, innit? I'd love to see what rules the British Boxing Board of Control have got in their rules book, yeah, on the conduct of licensed promoters during an ongoing doping investigation. Because you see this here, this exclusive here. Eddie Hearn phones Conor Benn after UKAD clearance. That to me looks to be a clear and utter lie. As far as I'm concerned, that's a promoter lying about the outcome of an ongoing doping investigation. It'd be very interesting to see the British Boxing Board of Control's rulebook about what happens when a licensed British Boxing Board of Control promoter tells Porky Pies or tells misinformation or spreads mistruths about the results of an ongoing doping investigation. Richard, would you consider that impeding a doping investigation? Can I ask you guys a question? Would you consider that impeding an anti-doping investigation? Releasing information to the public saying that the anti-doping body of this country has cleared you when that is clearly not the case. There's no evidence whatsoever that UKAD have ever cleared Conor Benn. Certainly not 2 weeks ago when this video was done. Would you consider that, Richard, impeding an ongoing drug investigation? Would you consider that impeding an ongoing doping? If I was conducting an ongoing doping investigation and that investigation was ongoing and somebody released a series of videos and information indicating that I cleared somebody when I had not cleared somebody, would you consider that impeding an investigation? I would. That's me personally. That's my opinion. I'd very much consider that impeding an ongoing doping investigation, because you should shut the fuck up until the investigation is complete, right? Isn't that correct, guys? Press 8 if I'm right, press 9 if I'm wrong. Just shut the fuck up until the investigation is complete, right? Is that correct? Interesting, isn't it? But for some reason, somebody feels the need to go to the media and misinform the public about the results of an ongoing investigation. But then you guys are, but not you guys, but then people are saying that Eddie Hearn destroyed Simon Jordan. But Eddie Hearn, to me, I have to be honest with you, this is a clear as day mistruth from Eddie Hearn that Conor Benn has been cleared from UKAD. And we called that out 3 weeks ago. As usual, I was called a liar who had an agenda. Well, let's wait and see. According to Eddie Hearn, there's going to be an appeal very, very shortly. We'll wait and see. Maybe there's no appeal. But I tell you one thing, and we'll move on to BAUMGARDNER. Appeal or no appeal, I have never seen any evidence that UKAD have ever cleared Conor Benn. What I have seen is evidence to suggest that the National Anti-Doping Panel are saying that UKAD do not have the rights to investigate and or ban Conor Benn. Big difference, Eddie Hearn. Big difference. As far as I'm concerned, you have been spreading misinformation and mistruths about a ongoing doping investigation. That's my opinion. Okay? I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but that's my opinion. Let's move back onto BAUMGARDNER. For those of you who've just missed it, 186 in the chat. If you'd like to, we're not going to stay for too much longer. If you'd like to be part of the chat, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please feel free to hit the like button. We don't charge. We don't do super chat for any of this stuff. The main news of the day is that Alicia BAUMGARDNER tested positive for signs of steroids 3 days before a fight with Christina Lindatu. We're not blaming Alicia BAUMGARDNER for anything. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying BAUMGARDNER's a scumbag. I'm not saying BAUMGARDNER should be banned for life. I'm not saying BAUMGARDNER should receive hate mail. If you listen to what I'm saying, I'm being very, very neutral towards Alicia BAUMGARDNER. And I tell you the truth, why? Because Alicia BAUMGARDNER isn't doing anything that anybody else isn't doing. Press 1 if you're with me on that, and press 2 if press 2. And you notice whenever we do these positive test stories, I never really put it on the fighter, because the fighter's not doing anything that the other fighters aren't doing. So we're not here today to call for BAUMGARDNER to get banned for life. But what I will ask is this, and I want the question to be asked, and I'm just going to repeat myself one more time for people that are joining. The topic of discussion is, who the fuck is this drug-free sport who did the testing for this BAUMGARDNER-Lindatu fight? I could be wrong, but Everything Boxing told me, you know who Everything Boxing is, right? Everything Boxing told me personally on Twitter, yeah, that Joe Cordina's last fight against Rakhimov was tested by drug-free sport and not VADA, right? If I'm wrong about that, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure Everything Boxing, I love you to bits, mate. You know, you told me on Twitter that drug-free sport did the testing for Joe Cordina versus Rakhimov, right? That's what you told me. Who the fuck are this drug-free sport doing drug testing at Matchroom shows? Which other promoters are using them, and are they fit for purpose? And I have to be honest, I've got to be very careful what I say. But again, how convenient is it that Alicia BAUMGARDNER takes a drug test 3 days before fight takes place, but the results only make it to the lab 9 days later so that the fight can't be stopped? That to me is just an incredible coincidence. Don't you think that? That is an incredible coincidence that would happen. That you would drug test Alicia BAUMGARDNER 3 days before a fight, and somehow the results wouldn't get to the lab for 9 days, and then the results wouldn't be reported for 3 weeks after that. So if she was to test positive, the event would still go on anyway. That is incredibly coincidental. That is incredibly coincidental. Who the fuck are this drug-free sport? Who are they? Sunset says, Eddie Hearn also confirmed they were using drug-free sport in an interview for Cordina's fight. So did Charlie Sims. He confirmed they were using drug-free sport. Can I ask you guys a question? If you guys were to fight on a Matchroom card, and you found out that drug-free sport were doing the testing, yeah, and you'd heard about what had gone on with this Alicia Baumgartner versus Christina Lindatu fight. So if you were set to fight on a Matchroom card and you found out that drug-free sport were doing the testing, and you found out that for the Lindatu fight, yeah, for the Lindatu and Baumgartner fight, a sample was taken from Baumgartner and the sample took 9 days to get to the lab and it took 3 weeks for the result to be released, would you have confidence in drug-free sport, yes or no? Thomas Williams says Eddie said they had used them for a few when questioned by Simon Jordan, but was sketchy about it. Frank brought them up, so Simon, listen, we've known about this drug-free sport for weeks and weeks and weeks. Do you not think we know about this? Do you not think when we found out that drug-free sport were doing testing for Joe Cordina, do you not think the first thing we all thought was, well, who the fuck are they? Let me ask you a question, right? And again, Richard, can you just check for me? Richard, am I still okay on the legal side? Richard or George C, can you still check? Am I still okay on the lawyer side? Yes or no? But this drug-free sport, when a fighter fails a test for drug-free sport, who gets the results? Does anybody know? Who gets the results? We know that in some cases, the results seem to take a very, very long time to appear, don't they? Because it seems like in the case of Lindatu and Baumgartner, it seems that the results took almost a month to come out. But who gets the results when they come out? Who gets the results? Where do the results go to? Who gets them? Does Christina Lindatu get a copy of the test results? Check their website. Well, does it tell me? I've been on it before, James Webb. Does it tell me, James Webb? If it does, let me know and I'll go on it now. But I want to know who gets the results. So when I go on a Matchroom show and I get tested by drug-free sport, who gets the results? Does Lindatu get the results? Who gets the results? And do you get the results in a timely manner? And what information do you get? It's very interesting, isn't it? I'd like to know. There's a lot of unknowns. We know with VADA, don't we? We know with VADA, what do we get with VADA? Normally with VADA, what do we get? Is it the opponent, right? Is it the promoter, the person who tested positive, and the opponent? Am I right about that, or does it depend? But it seems like for VADA testing, it might be, well, let me rephrase that. For VADA testing in the UK, we know the British boxing. Actually, no, we don't, do we? We don't actually. We don't. Let me know, actually. How does it work for VADA testing? I'm not going to pretend to know for sure when I don't. Who actually gets the results for VADA? But I'm pretty sure there's a protocol there. I'd like to know the protocol for drug-free sport. Who gets the results? Grant G says, looks like they also found primobolan. I'm not a doper, so what is that stuff, mate? Primobolan. According to Boxing Insider Dan Raphael, Baumgartner tested positive for the banned steroid mesterolone in a urine test conducted on July the 12th, 3 days before she defeated Christina Lindatu by unanimous decision to retain her titles. That's all we've got here on Bleacher Report. Let me know. Grant G says, patiently waiting on Tony Belly's response. Guys, we'll go for 2 more minutes. Get your comments in. Look, I'm not going to milk the cow here. And like I said, I'd like to see Alicia Baumgartner back in the sport because she ain't doing nothing that the others aren't doing. But I have to be honest, man. There seems to be a problem. And there seems to be a pattern, doesn't there? Do you not think? There seems to be a bit of a pattern going on recently. Do you not think? Unbelievable. What do you guys think? James Webb, let's have a look here. While Drug Free Sport International is based in Kansas City, Missouri, we provide our drug policy development services to organizations around the world. No on-site visits are needed. Every step is completed over the phone and email to streamline the process and set you up for success. James Webb, can you let me know if I'm right or wrong? That to me tells me that drug-free sport allow you to customize your drug policy. Did I read that right or wrong, James Webb? If I read that wrong, I apologize. Can you let me know, James Webb? Drug Free Sport International, we provide our drug policy development services to organizations around the world. No on-site visits are needed. Every step is completed over the phone and email to streamline the process and set you up for success. So, James Webb, can I ask you the question? Have I read that correctly? Does that mean that if I want to develop my own drug testing policy, I can speak to drug free sport, and drug free sport can come up here with my own drug testing protocol for me? So if I turn around and say that I want to develop my own sort of protocol for testing, fighters on Ultra Tech promotions, that drug-free sport will help me develop my protocol. Is that correct or not, James Webb? Can you please let me know? Richard, George, what do you think? George, you're a scientist. What do you think about that? I'd like to, because I think what James Webb said there is very important. I'd like to know, innit? Yeah, Rick James Webb says, sounds like they cater to all needs Ultra. That's very interesting, isn't it? Oh, I like the sound of this. I do like the sound of this. Drug-Free Sport International, based in Kansas City. We provide our drug policy development services to organizations around the world. Fucking brilliant. I want to start putting on fights tomorrow, but I need someone to do drug testing for me. Maybe I'll call Drug-Free Sport and we can do a phone call over the phone and we can come up with a drug testing policy. I'd like to come up. I've got a great idea for a drug testing policy. Here's my idea for a drug testing policy, right? I'm going to test my fighters 1 week, 1 week before the fight. And then what we will do is we're going to send the results, third class. And then next month, the results will come back to me. And then you can test them 150 more times. And then after 6 months, you report the results to me and I'll act. That sounds absolutely brilliant. Jesus, can they help me? Can they help me define a drug testing protocol? Can they help me do that? That'd be fantastic. Can they help me do that? Can they help me? Can they help me develop a drug testing protocol for ultra promotions? That'd be brilliant. Someone give me the phone number. I'll speak to Drug Free Sport over the phone. Let's come up with a drug testing protocol. I like the sound of this. This sounds fucking great. I can just make my own fucking rules up, can't I? Make my own fucking rules up. Yeah. Grant G says, we will test for EPO only the day of the fight. That sounds brilliant, Grant G. Someone give them a call. I want to start my own boxing promotion. Look what the cat dragged in. Tony's here. I just dropped a video on this and I saw that you were live. Tony, I'm about to go, but if you do want to jump on, Tony, and give your thoughts, you're very, very welcome to jump in and do so. I will hold on only for you and nobody else if you want to jump on. It's up to you, my brother. Let me know yes or no. It's up to you. That. We've still got 167 in here. Please hit the like button. But yeah, are you surprised at this? That's very, very interesting, this drug-free sport. And again, let me make it clear. I'm not accusing Matchroom or drug-free sport of anything. What I'm saying is there's definitely, in my opinion, which I'm entitled to, there's definitely been a problem in this drug testing protocol. There's something not right there. The links go. Tony's going to pop on and grace us with his presence for a couple of minutes. So the link's been passed to Tony. Let me just get my my headphones ready, and I'll ask Tony a few questions. We'll get Tony's opinion on it, and then we'll sign off. And I really appreciate 165 of you for staying on. I know you guys have got better things to do, but this seems to be an ongoing situation, doesn't it? And let me make it clear: this is just a Matchroom problem. You're going to see big Frank Warren fighters test positive. You're going to see big PBC fighters test. This is a boxing problem. This isn't a Matchroom problem. But what I'm looking at is, right, I'm looking at the way that certain promoters are handling these drug test results, aren't they? Because there does seem to be, oh, here we go. We've got an official statement from Matchroom Boxing. 1 second. Right, here we go. Matchroom can today confirm that Alicia Baumgartner returned an adverse analytical finding as part of her random anti-doping protocol, blah, 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 blah. Matchroom was first informed of this result on the 12th of August. Okay, so Matchroom was first informed of this fight on the 12th of August. The applicable regulatory authorities were also aware, and we defer to such bodies for further action and guidances as a full investigation is conducted. Yeah, that is hilarious. Random. Listen to what I'm saying here. Matchroom were informed of this result on the 12th of August. Listen, that's fine. As far as Matchroom are concerned, yeah? Matchroom were informed of the result on the 12th of August. So they were informed of the result on the 12th of August. They were informed of the test after the result. That's absolutely fine. My question, and the question that I'm going to ask Tony, is the following. Why on earth are Matchroom the best promoting agency on planet Earth hiring or being part of or allowing a drug testing protocol whereby somebody can do a test on the 12th of July 2023 and Matchroom only get informed of the result on the 12th of August 2023. Just press 1 if you're with me on that. Press 2 if you're with me on that. How on earth can Matchroom allow a drug testing protocol on their shows when a fighter can be tested on the 12th of July 2023 and Matchroom only be informed 1 month later that that fighter has tested positive? And as we know, it took 9 days for the results to get to the lab. I'm sorry, but who the fuck are these people that are being employed? We're still waiting for Tony, so I'm just gonna go through a few more comments. Tony's here. He's just hooking up his mic. Okay, 1 second. Tony, can you hear me loudly and clearly, mate?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can't hear you, Tony.
Can anybody hear me?
Can you hear Tony? I can't hear Tony, but I think it's me, not Tony. Let me just check. It is me. 1 sec, Tony. It's me.
All right.
It's me. I can hear you now. It's these fucking crappy headphones. Tony, give us your initial thoughts, man.
So, first and foremost, if it is true, because like Dillian White, I'm saying he's innocent until proven guilty, but if it is true, then the first thing I want is I got my prediction right. Christina Leonardo won the fight. She needs to get those fucking undisputed titles because that should be a DQ, and by default, she won for her cheating. So that's first and foremost. Leonardo needs to be the undisputed champion if this is true. Secondly, I do believe in due process. Being that I'm from America, I believe you should be innocent until proven guilty. If it turns out she's guilty, then she needs a suspension. I wouldn't say a ban, because if you got Canelo, Valdez, Eggman, Conor BENN getting slaps on the wrist, then why shouldn't she get a slap on the wrist for her first time being caught?
Agreed.
So I say no more than a 6-month ban maximum for her. But I do believe she should be stripped of all those titles, and they should be given to Leonardo, or at least allow Leonardo to fight somebody else to get all the titles, because they should be hers by DQ. Her loss should be a win. Outside of that, Proviron is a very rare steroid. Androgen, you don't see a lot of people using it, so it's kind of weird that she would use that because it's not very common. But which is Mestrolone, my bad. Mestrolone is what she got caught for, but the actual compound that you would buy would be Proviron. That's going to be the actual brand name of the pill that you take. Anyways,
no, keep going, Tony, because I don't understand. I don't understand this stuff, and I know you know a lot more about.
So basically, what the substance is used for is mainly used for 2 things. For boys, I'm gonna do a video on this later, but I'm doing it here, I guess, beforehand. But it's mainly used for young boys who don't reach puberty. So in other words, instead of them being 13, 14, or younger, 12, 11, really the main thing is whenever they hit about 15, 16 years old, they haven't hit puberty. It's called delayed puberty. And that's when you would give them this substance to help them reach puberty. It can also be helped in older men for fertilization. So it's a fertility drug, kind of like Conor BENN was trying to get pregnant by Eubank, getting his eggs ready. This is for actually men who want to get babies, where it ups their sperm count. Those are the main reasons why you would use it. For females, it's actually a very dangerous drug to use, and it can lead to infections and all types of shit. So why a female would even be using it in the first place is insane, in my opinion. There's other stuff that's stronger, better, that doesn't have the risk that women can take from this. But there's like viral infection, all types of stuff that this stuff can cause in women, which is why it's never given to women. But yeah, I mean, long story short, if this is true, Leonardo should be undisputed, without a doubt.
Tony, let me ask you a question here, and that was brilliant, and I appreciate that. Don't give us don't give us any exclusives on this show that you wouldn't give on your own channel. But I really appreciate that, because I don't understand a thing about how these drugs work. Right? Let me ask you a question. I want to ask you a question about the timeline. Okay, drug-free sport. Right now, Tony, we first heard about drug-free sport right after the Conor BENN saga, because there were rumors. I've got to be careful what I say, but there were rumors going around that certain people were very unhappy with VADA testing after Conor BENN tested positive, right? And there were big question marks about VADA testing and was it legit, and you know who was handling samples and whatnot, right? So we first heard about drug-free sport a couple of months ago. We heard about drug-free sport because they did the testing for the Joe Cordina and Rakimov fight that I believe, right? And I was asking, who the fuck are this guy? Tony, have you ever been to their website? Yeah, drug-free sport. I mean, it's just unbelievable, right? So it looks like It's not a professional looking website. Anyway, so you go to Drug Free Sport. Who the fuck are they? Yeah. I went onto the website. I couldn't find much out about them. I gave up, right? Tony, let's have a look at this, right? You can see it on the screen here. The urine sample for BAUMGARDNER was collected on July the 12th. All right. This is Dan Raphael for Boxing Scene. According to the test report, the lab received the sample to test on July the 23rd. Sorry, July the 21st. So, Tony, 12th of July, sample was taken from BAUMGARDNER. The fight was on the 15th, and the sample only got to the fucking lab on the 21st. So the sample got to the lab the week after the fight. Tested 3 days before the fight. The sample only got to the lab the week after the fight. So by some incredible coincidence, Tony, this fight managed to go ahead because of that. Because it took 9 days for this sample to get to the lab. As a result, Christina Lindatu, Tony, who isn't licensed to box in the UK, as you know, Tony, because she's got a lens over one eye and she wasn't allowed to fight Michaela Meyer in this country, has gone on and been punched in the head by somebody who may have had steroids in their system. Tony, not only did the results not hit the lab until July the 21st, but according to BoxingScene.com, the result was reported on August the 10th. Tony, this, am I right? And I know you will always tell me if I'm wrong, but Tony, am I wrong for calling people to ask, who the fuck are this drug-free sport? What is going on? And do Matchroom need to be asking big questions about the drug testing protocol that is going on in their shows? When a fighter is tested 3 days before a fight, the results don't get to the lab for 9 days, and the results don't get reported until a month later. Let me know what you think about that, Tony.
I mean, I don't know who the fuck they are at all. No idea. I think that's what Eddie was alluding to, that he wants to have his own drug people. And I think, isn't that who he said he wanted to go through for his own drug testing, which is just a conflict of interest to begin with. But outside of that, I mean, 9 days to get to the lab seems a little extreme, because normally whenever you take samples, you want to get it there ASAP.
Exactly.
But I don't know.
To avoid contamination, Tony. To avoid contamination.
You don't really have to worry about contamination by the way things are sealed with all the protocols that go into it. But when it's a sporting event, you would want it sooner than later. I mean, I don't know why they would wait 9 days to turn it in, because I was thinking, I had to read the article as you was talking about it. It definitely says they received the sample 9 days later, not that they had the sample and then they tested. Because I could see, like, it being reported August 10th, I could see that, because you don't know the priority of when they're going to test it, how many other samples the lab is testing, how many people were at work, weren't at work. You know what I mean? There's a lot of intangibles that go into when it would actually get tested in the lab. But the fact that they waited 9 days is insane to me.
It's insane. Would you say, Tony, and again, I'm not trying to push you into saying anything. I'm asking you if you think I'm right. Yeah. So am I right? I'm now calling, yeah, right? Because you know me, right? I'm very, very much, I've got a lot of questions towards Eddie Hearn and his drug testing protocol. For me, Tony, Matchroom call themselves the best promoters in the world, right? And I think if they're entitled to call themselves that, they call themselves the best promoter in the world. Do you think it's acceptable? I would say at the very, very least, right? And let me ask you this, Tony. If you're a promotion and you're running boxing events, right? Would you, and you have your fighters drug tested, I would like to know. I would want those results back ASAP. How the fuck can you put an event on and be comfortable, right, with not getting the results for a month? Does that make sense? You're the best. You're the best promotion in the world, and you need to ensure fighter safety. You need those results, Tony.
No, I don't. You're looking at this all wrong. I don't need to protect anybody but my fighters. So by me being the best promotional company out there, not only when you sign with me are you going to get to sign with me, but I'm going to give you a pass on PEDs too, because I want to make sure that you make it to your fight, juice to the gills, win your fight, get your belt, and then we can deal with the consequences after the fact, because I'm the best promotional company out there. I don't care about the other fighter. Now, where I will go after another fighter is if they're juice to the gills trying to attack my fighter. Then I'm going to stop that ASAP before the fight. But if my fighter is the one with the advantage, hell yeah, I'm going to protect my fighter. I'm the best promotional company out there.
Yeah, finish. Sign us out. We're gonna go soon, Tony. All
right, that's fine. I'll sign us out. Like always, if you haven't done it yet, hit the thumbs up, I don't know how many people are in here because I'm on StreamYard, but I guarantee you there's more people in here than thumbs up. So smash the thumbs up on your way out if you haven't done it yet. My boy Ultra goes live randomly all the time. That means because it's random, you need to hit the bell or else you're not going to know because it's sporadic. So hit the bell so you can follow him like a cat with a bell on the leash. You know when he's coming, so you can be here live direct, catch everything he's doing. He hit breaking news. I thought I broke this news. He was already live after I dropped the video. Definitely stay in. It's a prime time, great source for the UK. It makes it all the way over here to the US. And outside of that, to me, this is just another black eye for Eddie Hearn, if he can even have an eye left to have blacked. Maybe it's a black nose for him at this point, because this is another fighter attached to him with a potential PED cheat. And it's just real weird how all these matchroom fighters just keep popping hot. But on that, y'all have a good day. Ultra, appreciate you letting me on. You have a good day, and that's it.
Guys, see you later. We're out. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other, guys.